The sticky note on my fridge was a death certificate in pink, Ashley's perfect handwriting. Spelled out the end of our 12-year marriage in 23 words. Gone for 2 weeks with Chase. Need space. Please respect my journey. Ashley. I stood there in my boxers, clutching my morning coffee, the last normal thing in my world. My name's Jake Morrison, a mechanic in Millfield, a small town where gossip spreads faster than oil on water. My hands are stained with motor oil. My back aches from crawling under engines, and I smell like WD-40 more often than cologne. Ashley used to love that about me, the realness. That was before yoga pants, green smoothies, and a personal trainer named Chase. The house felt like a museum exhibit. Failed marriage. American Suburb Edition. Ashley's vanilla candles still burned, their scent mixing with her expensive perfume. The security cameras she'd insisted on installing last month now made sense. She'd been planning her escape. I stared out the kitchen window at our manicured lawn. Mrs. Delaney, the nosy neighbor, was already peeking through her blinds. By noon, Millfield would know Ashley Morrison had left her mechanic husband for a younger man. Behind the coffee filters, I found her burner phone. Amateur hour. The messages were a gut punch. 3 months of explicit texts. Selfies in my favorite flannel shirt and hotel bookings. Chase Brennan, 28, personal trainer at Elite Fitness, drove a leased Tesla and posted shirtless gym selfies with captions about living your truth. Ashley, my practical wife who once mocked influencers, was sending heart eyes emojis and calling him her soulmate. My phone buzzed with a text from Mike, my business partner. Saw Ashley's car at the airport. Everything okay? I replied, never better. She's on a journey of self-discovery. The house phone rang. Ashley's voice on the answering machine panicked. Jake, pick up. We need to talk like adults. I'm not the villain. This marriage has been dead for years. Courage, she called it, abandoning me via post-it. I poured another coffee and sat at the kitchen table where we'd planned our future, discussed kids, argued about money. Now it was evidence of my blindness. How long had she planned this? How many friends knew? How many pitying looks had I missed? The garage was my sanctuary. Morrison's auto repair on the edge of town was where things made sense. Engines had problems. You fixed them. No hidden meanings, just honest work. Mike, Tommy, and Rick, my mechanics and loyal friends, were waiting when I arrived. Heard about Ashley, Mike said, avoiding my eyes. Mrs. Patterson saw her loading suitcases at 5 a.m. Of course she did. Mrs. Patterson probably had a direct line to the town newspaper. What's the plan? Tommy asked. I looked at my crew, Mike with his bad jokes, Tommy who could diagnose engines by sound, Rick putting 2 kids through college. These were my people. Not Ashley's wine and cheese. Crowd who made me feel like hired. Help at my own dinner parties. We work, I said. Same as always. But everything had changed. Ashley had made her choice. Now I had to make mine. Did I want to be the victim or something else? By lunch, my phone had 17 missed calls from Ashley. I deleted them all. I moved into a week-to-week rental above Frankie's boxing gym, reeking of sweat and disinfectant. The thin walls carried every grunt and punch, every motivational speech Frankie gave to kids dreaming of escape. It was perfect. Ashley had been back for 3 days, her voicemails escalating in panic. Chase was delayed at customs, irregularities in his passport, thanks to a call I'd made to my buddy, Derek at border security. Mrs. Delaney knocked, holding a tuna noodle casserole and a gossip-hungry grin. Such a shame about Ashley, she said. Always thought she was too good for her britches. Remember when she complained about my wind chimes? I let her ramble. In Millfield, she was a one-woman PR firm. By evening, her version of events would hit every coffee shop and church basement. Some say you drove her to it, she added, watching me. Working all the time, never taking her anywhere fancy. But I told Marge, Hicks, you worked your fingers to the bone for her. I thanked her, filing away her mention of her nephew Danny, a divorce lawyer who'd taken his wife to the cleaners. At Frankie's gym, I worked the heavy bag. Each punch a memory. Ashley rolling her eyes at mud on the floor, forgetting to mention dinner parties, introducing me as just my husband like I was furniture. Frankie, a former semi-pro boxer, said Ashley had called, asking if I was acting erratically. Told her you're rational, considering she ran off with some pretty boy, he said. I laughed. Bet she loved that. Frankie nodded. She hung up, but she'll be back. Women like her can't stand losing control of the narrative. He was right. Ashley had spent our marriage shaping me into her ideal husband. Blue collar, heart of gold. A project to flaunt. That project was over. Walking back to my apartment, I saw my truck in the gym's lot. Not enough man spray painted across the hood in red. Rage hit me like a fist. This wasn't vandalism, it was a message. I called the police more for the report than justice. Officer Martinez, a divorce veteran himself, took photos and asked about enemies. My wife left me for her trainer, I said. Take your pick. He suggested security cameras and warned me to watch my back. The paint job would cost $800, but the real cost was humiliation. Everyone would know what it meant. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. How does it feel to lose everything? Ashley was too direct for anonymous texts. Chase too dumb for mind games. Who was behind this? At 3 a.m., sleepless, I scrolled Ashley's Instagram, a curated lie of our marriage. The comment section was full of fake sympathy. But one stood out. Vanessa Chen, Ashley's college roommate and maid of honor, wrote, "Sometimes we have to break a few hearts to find our true selves. So proud of you for being brave." Vanessa had never liked me, always hinting Ashley had settled. Her own marriage had collapsed 6 months ago. Her husband left her for a co-worker, taking half her assets. Misery loves company, and Vanessa was recruiting. The next morning, I drove to Elite Fitness. Chase's Tesla, with Fit God plates, gleamed in the lot. Through the gym's windows, I watched him train a woman standing too close, hands on her shoulders, the same routine he'd used on Ashley. I followed him to the smoothie bar, where he ordered a warrior goddess bowl and flirted with the cashier. "Chase Brennan," I said, approaching. His smile faltered, guilt and fear flickering. "Jake, look, about Ashley." "Relax," I cut him off. "I'm here to thank you for showing me who my wife really is. 12 years wasted on someone who'd throw it away for Instagram moments. You did me a favor." His confusion was almost funny. He'd expected a fight, not gratitude. "That's mature of you," he said. "I'm a mature guy. Mind if I take a picture for Ashley's social media?" Before he could object, I snapped a shot of him with his smoothie bowl, looking panicked. Later, I posted it on Ashley's Instagram. When you find your soulmate, every moment is a celebration. Blessed and grateful new beginnings. Comments flooded in. Her co-workers, family, book club friends, all seeing me celebrate her affair. The humiliation was perfect. That afternoon, I met Danny Hendricks, Mrs. Delaney's nephew, in his office above the hardware store, lined with hunting trophies and obscure law degrees. "Heard your wife's stepping out with a trainer," he said. I showed him the burner phone, texts, and hotel receipts. His eyes gleamed. "In this state, adultery affects asset division. We can make this expensive for her." "I don't want her money," I said. "I want her to know what it's like to lose everything." I explained Vanessa's role, my suspicions of her manipulation. Danny nodded, impressed. "Most guys just take their lumps. You're strategic." We spent an hour crafting a legal, devastating plan. As I left, I felt hope for the first time in months. Ashley called as I walked to my truck. "That Instagram post, you can't do that. It's humiliating." My boss saw it. "My mother's crying." "Sounds like a personal problem," I said. "We're adults," she pleaded. "Like leaving a note on the fridge?" Silence. "I want to get my things tonight at 7. "Door's unlocked," I said, then called Mike, Tommy, and Rick for a favor. Ashley arrived in her silver BMW, Vanessa in tow. They sat in the car, arguing, before approaching the house like it was enemy territory. I'd prepared. Changed the locks, legally per Danny. Installed discreet recording devices, also legal, and invited an audience. Mike, Tommy, and Rick were in the garage, working late. Mrs. Delaney was watering her garden. Officer Martinez was patrolling nearby, thanks to my tip about suspicious activity. I let them in, calm and detached. "Take whatever you want," I told Ashley. "I'm not attached anymore." She seemed surprised by my demeanor. They returned from upstairs with suitcases and books. "That's it?" I asked. "For now," Ashley said. "We'll process everything later." "Process everything?" I repeated. I'm not angry, Ashley. I'm grateful for the wake-up call, for the chance to start over with someone who wants me. Her eyes sharpened. You're seeing someone? I'm exploring options, I lied. Plenty of women appreciate a man with a steady job and emotional intelligence. Vanessa stepped in. Who? None of your business, I said, turning to her. But thanks for your advice to Ashley about not settling, about deserving better than a blue-collar husband. Vanessa paled. What advice? Ashley told me everything, I bluffed. How you pushed her to join that gym, to explore her options, to leave someone beneath her station. Ashley looked confused. Vanessa, what's he talking about? He's causing problems, Vanessa snapped. I pulled out my phone, pretending to open a recording app. I have voicemails from someone who sounds like you, Vanessa. Want to hear them? Her face crumpled. You manipulated my wife, I pressed, because you couldn't stand her happiness after your marriage fell apart. Your husband left you, so you dragged Ashley into your misery. Ashley stared at Vanessa, horrified. Is this true? Vanessa faltered. You were wasting your life with him. You said you felt trapped. By encouraging an affair? I cut in. With a trainer cheating on her with half his clients? I showed Ashley Chase's Instagram, photos with other women, posted daily. You're not his girlfriend, Ashley. You're Tuesday and Thursday. Ashley scrolled through the photos, her face cycling through denial, recognition, and rage. He said I was special, she whispered. You are, Vanessa said. It changes nothing. It changes everything, Ashley shouted. You ruined my marriage for this, a man treating me like another client. Their friendship dissolved in accusations with me watching silently. Vanessa stormed out. Ashley cried. Jake, I'm sorry. Can we fix this? I looked at her, beautiful, selfish, easily swayed. No, I said. The papers are filed tomorrow. Get a lawyer. She left, and I felt relief. The worst was over. The high school reunion was Ashley's nightmare, a gym full of people she'd spent years trying to impress. She'd dreaded it for months, making it perfect for my final act. 6 weeks after our confrontation, her life was unraveling. I arrived late in a fitted suit, feeling better than ever. Karen Murphy, class president, greeted me. I heard about Ashley. I'm sorry. Don't be, I said. Best thing that happened to me. Her eyes widened. Word spread, Jake Morrison wasn't broken. I worked the room, sharing my story. Married young, worked hard, learned my wife wasn't who I thought. Now free to find someone who valued me. Ashley got sympathetic head tilts and veiled judgment. Everyone knew about Chase, the post-it note, the affair. At 9 p.m., the DJ announced, Jake Morrison has something to share. I hadn't requested it, but I took the microphone, finding Ashley's eyes. Thanks for being here, I began. It's great to catch up and see how far we've come. Some know Ashley and I are divorcing. It's been tough, but I've learned about loyalty, friendship, and the difference between who you marry and who they become. The room fell silent. Some stick by you. Others abandon you for something better. Trust, once broken, can't be fixed with apologies. Ashley leaving me for her trainer was devastating. But it freed me from a marriage about appearances, not happiness. It showed me my real friends and gave me a chance to start over. Murmurs spread. Ashley looked like she wanted to vanish. I thank Ashley for showing me who she is, for teaching me that losing everything means realizing you had nothing worth keeping. I left the stage, leaving her to face the fallout. In the parking lot, she confronted me, tears streaming. How could you humiliate me like that? You humiliated yourself, I said. I just told the truth. You chose Vanessa's advice, Chase, a post-it note over our marriage. Those were decisions, not mistakes. She sobbed, begging for forgiveness, but I drove away, leaving her in her expensive dress, finally understanding her loss. The next morning, Danny called. Ashley agreed to all terms. No alimony, clean asset split. She wanted it over. 6 months later, I sold the house and bought a cabin on Miller's Lake. The shop thrived. I was in the best shape of my life, and I was dating Susan, who laughed at my jokes and saw me as I was. Ashley moved to Chicago, started a new job, and dated an accountant, stable, unlike Chase. Vanessa disappeared to Phoenix, likely manipulating new lives. I kept the burner phone, a reminder not of loss but of gain. Betrayal showed me who I was dealing with before it was too late. They say the best revenge is living well. They're wrong. It's becoming the person your enemies forced you to be and liking that person better. I was no longer the accommodating husband, shrinking to please others. Ashley wanted me to be the villain in her story of self-discovery. Instead, I became the hero of mine, stronger on the other side. She'd created a monster, just not the one she expected.